Maimer, line 11. We are concluding the Maimer on page Yud Gimel. We were speaking about that the whole idea of Torah is to influence in the physical world, to make a change in the Dvarim Gashmim and in the ordinary. That's why it speaks about, Aser Sadibra speaks about ordinary matters, most mundane matters, and that's why it says Vasisa Chag HaShavuos. That's about Asiya, action, misas nidvas yodcha, and all of this, the levels of Anoichi has to come down all the way into Havaya Lekecha. It becomes your energy, and this also obviously has to impact the entire year, and that's the whole chiddush of Matan Torah. The Torah mitzvahs impacts the world because of the power of Anoichi that was a result of being a Mitzrayim, and that's why only by Matan Torah was there this revelation, but the others did not have this. So now we can address another question that we had in the beginning of the Maimer. We asked also, why does it say Vaydaber Elekim? Elekim seems to be a lower level, a level that has to do with the creation. Bereshis bara Elekim, and even then, at the end of creation, we also brought in Havaya. Why would we start off the Aser Sadibris, which is such a great revelation, with the name Elekim? So he says in line 11, Umashanemar Vaydaber Elekim Davke. Why does it start off with the word Elekim? Hine Elekim Zeh. This name Elekim is not like the name Elekim of the creation. Shehu bechinas Elekim stam. The Elekim of Maisa Bereshis is Elekim without any qualifiers. It's just Elekim on the normal level of Elekim. That the concept of Elekim, and without any qualifiers, is a halim or lahastira, is to conceal and cover over the light. Ve'ilu shem Elekim, shenamer Matan Torah, as opposed to the name Elekim that says by Matan Torah b'chinas Elekim Chaim. There's another level of Elekim, which is the level called the living Elekim. What is the living Elekim? It's a much higher level than the ordinary Shem Elekim, the Maisa Bereshis. Shehu Shara Chamishim de Binam, that is the 50th gate of Bina. Shalamaylam Me'arba V'Tishosh Arim. It's higher than the 49 gates of Bina that preceded it, that we had the revelation of them throughout the 49 days of Sfira. And on the 50th day, Tispru Chamishim Yoim, we have the 50th gate become revealed to us. V'Koilol Oisam Ke'echad. And this 50th level, the level that corresponds to Elekim Chaim, includes all of these 49 gates together. And that's where it says that Elekim spoke all these matters. And we spoke before. What does it mean? Kol hadvarim ha'ela means to tell you. Why does it say Kol hadvarim ha'ela? It could have just said Vaydaber Elekim anoichi Hashem Elekecha. Shekol advarim ha'ela. What's the indication of all these matters? Shekoi al kol inyonei ha'Torah. It refers to all matters of Torah. Kol gam masha talmid vasik asid l'chadish, including also what a diligent student is going to come up with many years after Matan Torah. Kaniska leil, as we mentioned earlier. Hine kol zeh nichol b'Vaydaber Elekim. All of this is included in Vaydaber Elekim. The feature bechinas Elekim Chaim, because this level of Elekim Chaim, the living Elekim, which we said before, Shara Chamishim de Bina, it's the 50th level of Bina. Kol Hainyanim Hem bechinas Iskalus Ke'echad. In the 50th gate, all the matters, all the other 49 gates are entirely included together. So therefore, in the same way, the Torah includes all the Torah of the Aser Sadibris includes every other part of the Torah together with it, just like the 50th gate includes all the 49 gates as one. After saying Vaydaber Elekim, it says Anoichi is Havaya your God, Shematan Torah. Top of page Yudalad Nimshach Loidak B'chinas Elekim Chaim. By the giving of the Torah came down not just the level of the living Elekim. Ela b'chinas havaya shalamai lo loidak b'chinas Elkim stam ela gam b'chinas Elkim chaim. What comes down is the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. The name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is higher even, not just than the undefined and the limited level of the Elikim, which is the level of concealment, but also from the level of the Elikim Chaim, the living Elikim. Not only is Shem Yud-Kei Vav-Kei revealed, but also Anoichi Shalamayla Gam Me'avayet, that is even higher than the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Anoichi Misha Anoichi, I who I am, Messiahim Leimor. And he concludes, Vaydaber Elkim es kol hadvarim ha'ela leimor, to say. What does that mean to say? A famous question throughout many Mamar Chassidus, and also Mefarshim, when it says throughout the Torah that Hashem told Moshe leimor, it was leimor to relate to Klal Yisrael, to the Jewish people. But by Matan Torah, all the Yidden were there, and all the neshamas of future generations were there. So why does it have to say leimor, to say? So the purpose and the meaning of the word leimor, the Rebbe says, shekol hanyan shenimshch b'matan Torah, all the matters that came down by the giving of the Torah, Elikim Chayim and Havaya Anoichi Hem Nimshachim b'chol pam shekol echad miYisrael loimer Torah. They come down every time that every single Jew studies Torah. There's a poyel leimer. Through this, he affects to say, macht noch sagen. He makes that Hashem should repeat. It says when a person learns a pasuk from Tanakh, Hashem reads from Tanakh across from him. A person learns a pasuk in a part of Torah Shbal Peh, a Mishnah, and so on. Hashem repeats that same thing. So that's what it means. Leimor, the leimor is we cause Hashem to say. And not just we cause Hashem to say on a lesser level, but also in the same identical way that Hashem spoke those very things by Matan Torah, that it was Vaydaber Elekim, it was Anoich Havai Elekecha. So we are causing Hashem to speak the Torah in that elevated, special way. That's the reason why Shalchein Malahalam Be'em of Yirav, just like by Matan Torah was with this great fear and trembling, etc. Afkan Be'em of Yirav, the same thing when a person studies Torah at present. In our days, a person is also supposed to learn with the same trembling, the same fear and awe, and so on, because we are experiencing the same thing that happened by Matan Torah. Ois Hey, line 14. Hine Alpha Pishain in the Matan Torah. Hoya boy from Dandiam Maschil, though the idea of Matan Torah was in such a way that when Hashem said that we're going to undo the separation between the Elyonim and Tachtonim, those above and those below, he said, I'm the one to begin it. And that's why it says, Vayered Hashem al Har Sinai, Hashem descended on Har Sinai. He was the first one to break through that barrier. So seemingly one could say that the whole idea of Matan Torah is just Hashem's doing. So the Rebbe says, no, it's still being accomplished through our doing. There had to be at least some type of preparation for this. Beginning from the will and the yearning and desiring for the giving of the Torah. As we know, that's the point of Sfiras HaOmer, that we were counting the days. We couldn't wait for the giving of the Torah. And after all that yearning of the 49 days of counting Sfira, there also had to be Ha'inyan Dagdamas Nasal and Nishma. There had to be the prefacing of we will do before we will hear and understand. That was what was able to engender the giving of the Torah. So just like at that time, there had to be all those things that we did as a preparation for it, similarly in the giving of the Torah that takes place every single day. Where do we see that the Torah is given every single day? Like we say in the brachas of the Torah, it says, Noisein ha-Torah. It doesn't say the one who gave us. It says that as well, but it also says the one who gives the Torah, Lashon Hoiva, in the present tense, meaning that Hashem gives us the Torah every single day. So every single day we have to have the same type of yearning, we have to have the same nasa before nishma to receive the Torah on a daily basis. But not only does it have to be every single day, but especially so, line 20, befrat bin in the Matan Torah shebachag HaShavuos. How much more so in the giving of the Torah that's in the Yom Tov of Shavuos, Shavuos man Matan Torah al kol hashon. It's the time of the giving of the Torah for the entire year. Preparation for this is through the avodah of the counting of the Omer Shiva Shavuos Tisperlach, that you need to count the 7 weeks for yourself. What's the idea of the counting of the 7 weeks? The idea and the service of Hashem of the counting the 7 weeks is refining our attributes, our emotions. Like it's hinted in the continuation of the pasuk that says Shiva Shavuos Tisperlach, it says from the beginning of the sickle in the standing harvest. So the Chazal derive from this al tikra bakama el bakoima. Do not read it as bakama, but koima means the full stature of a person. And the limud that Chazal are applying this for is for the halacha that a person should recite Sfiras Omer while standing up. But Chassidus applies it concerning the full attributes of the person. Inyan midas hativis and nefshabahamis. It's talking about the innate, natural attributes of the animal soul. Shehem bechinas yesh, that they are in the way of an ego. K'moy kama, they're standing upright. They're full of themselves. We need to raise up upon them a sickle, to cut them off and to eradicate them. That the midas nefshabahamis should be in a state of bittul. Look at the Torah, like it's explained. Look at the Torah, this meaning of this pasuk, Mahalcha Chamesh Bakama. The Cholze Einoi Mas B'Gadai, top of page Tezvav. All of this is insufficient. There also has to be afterwards the prefacing, the introduction of Nas before Nishma. It's complete nullification of the will, or bitl abalarotzen, and the nullification to the master of the will. What the nasa is more, the nishma is more about accepting and following Hashem's will, but the nasa before nishma, we don't even know what it is. We're making vatl ourselves to the one who's going to give the will before we even know it. It's not about the will, it's about Hashem himself. So just like, again, the first time around, through us reciting Nasa and Nishma, through our working on the Midas, we arrived at the same thing every year on Shavuos, becomes all of that, like we mentioned before, that this Vaydaber Elkim, Hu Bechinas Elkim Chayim, is the living level of Elkim. That that's the 50th gate of Bina. That the 50th gate comes down by Matan Torah after the introduction of Sfiras Omer. Through the Sfiras Omer, Mamshichim Arbaim V'Tisha Shari Bina. We bring down the 49 gates and levels of Bina. And then from that results, until it becomes also that you will count 50 days, even though we don't actually count 50 days. So the Chassidus always talks about, why does it say you should count 50 days? But because the 49 days that we count result in the 50th gate coming down, so it's considered as if we're counting it the 50th day. The drawing down the 50th gate. The Matan Torah, it's a revelation of the giving of the Torah. Well, to note, Shebina hi alma decheru. Bina in Kabbalah is called the world of freedom. Shekosher inyan acherus shenasai de limra Torah. It's connected with the freedom that occurs through the study of Torah. K'mayim Chazal, the Chazal say, Ein l'cha ben chodim al misha oisik betalmud Torah. There is no one who is called free, only someone that's involved in Torah study. This becomes a close preparation for the coming of Mashiach. She'oz yeh inyan acheres b'shleimus, then it will be true freedom, complete freedom. Cheres mi Yetzer Hara, the freedom of the Yetzer Hara. After the beginning of this, that began Matan Torah, the freedom of the Yetzer Hara, that the Chazal say that their tumah, their dirt left them, that was stuck to Klal Yisrael, that was stuck to the world from the Chetes Adas. Like it's explained in Taisim Sakt Shabbos, we had this in Hayom Yom, that Hashem disturbed and confused the Satan during Matan Torah. So the Hayom Yom says that just like the Tosfos says over there, that the Satan was made confused at the time of the giving of the Torah. So the Hayom Yom says, "Valderech zo b'chag Shavuos, the man Matan Torah b'chol shana v'shana so too." It's in the Yom Tov Shavuos, the time of the giving of the Torah, every single year. That same confusion is laid down on the Satan. There's the freedom from the enslavement of governments in the literal sense. Below 10 handbreadths, meaning physically in our world. Then there'll be the giving of the Torah perfectly. The Mashiach will teach Torah to the entire Jewish people, and the true redemption and the complete redemption through Mashiach speedily in our days.